Hello everybody, I'm Anna from the Invisible Sisters, and beside me there's my sister Amber. Today I brought the story of a great person. He made many improvements to our country, especially about agriculture and language, and he also made the lives of people to be more comfortable. His kindness and wisdom was respected by many people, but he also had enemies that opposed his opinions in many ways. Do you recognize him, Amber?
I think he's King Sejong the Great.
Yeah, that's right. So today's content is
1.
Brainstorming about King Sejong the Great.
2.
King Sejong the Great's childhood.
3.
King Sejong the Great's family introduction.
4.
Other people related to King Sejong the Great.
5.
King Sejong the Great's accomplishment.
6.
My opinion. First, we're going to look at King Sejong the Great's portrait. He looks solemn, wise, and kind. He was a very smart boy when he was young, and he was a wise king to every Joseon people. So I'm going to start brainstorming about King Sejong the Great. First, there was conflict with brother in childhood, and father's whole love, reading and studying. King Sejong the Great liked reading and studying from when he was very young. And next, there is accomplishment. Hominjeongeum was created after many people's effort was put in. And King Sejong the Great improved agriculture techniques and science as well. Lastly, King Sejong the Great got a lot of respect for being kind and wise to the Joseon people. Next is the life. We saw the childhood, and now we go to the relationship. There is families, brother and father, researchers, Shin Suk-ju, etc., scientists, Jang Yang-sil, etc., and enemies like Choi Man-ri. Okay, King Sejong the Great's childhood. King Sejong the Great was called to be Chungyeong when he was young. He was very smart and clever that his father, King Taejong, loved him the most. Due to the endless love of King Taejong to Chungyeong, Sejong's brother Yangyang was really jealous. Therefore, there are many conflicts between them. Chungyeong loved studying and reading like us, right?
Yep, he did.
Now, we're going to talk about King Sejong the Great's brief, only important people family tree. First, there is King Taejo and Queen Sin-ui, who gave birth to King Taejong, who is King Sejong's father. And there is Lord Min-jae and Lady Song, who gave birth to Queen Wang-young, who is King Sejong's mother. And there is King Sejong as the smallest kid of the child, the biggest kid, Prince Yangyang, the second kid, Prince Hyoryong, and King Sejong the Great. Now, what do you think? Sejong was born to be a prince, and there were so much opportunity for him to study well. Now, I'm going to talk about the other people related to King Sejong the Great. First, there are the Jipyeonjeon researchers. What is a Jipyeonjeon?
I don't know.
A Jipyeonjeon is a place or a group of people who is very wise and kind and good to the Joseon people, and who works for the king and researches about the things that the king wants. It's kind of hard to explain, but I think that is it. First, there is mainly Shin Suk-ju, who is very kind and didn't want to deceive the king, and Jung Cho, who made a book about agriculture for the Joseon peoples. And there is his family, Prince Yangyang and Hyoryong, and mother, Queen Wang-young, and father, King Taejong. Lastly, there are the royal scientists, and they're mainly Jang Yang-sil. He is very important in Korean history among our peoples, but I think he isn't known that well in the international world. And etc. There's Yoon Sao-ung and Lee Sun-ji. Sorry, my tongue is getting twisted. Now I'm going to talk about King Sejong the Great's accomplishment. King Sejong the Great has completed many amazing accomplishments. I'll divide his contributions into 3 categories. The first one is the creation of Hangul, second one is the advance of science and agriculture, and the last one is the love for people. I'll explain the both 3 of them in the next slides. The first one is brainstorming about his accomplishments. First, there is creation of Hangul here. This is number 1, right? And creation of Hangul was refused by the rich people because they already learned Hanja, which was really hard to learn. But it was created in 1446, September 21 to 30, and called Huminjangam, which means, what was it? What was the meaning of it? It was to mean of a great sound to teach the people. Wow, so meaningful. And there is endless research. And next is the science and agriculture achievements. There is Borugak Jaginglu, hemispherical sundial, and Nongsa jigsaw. I'll show you pictures about these inventions in the next slide. And lastly, there is the love for the country. There were wise thoughts and great ideas in King Sejong the Great's mind, and he was a really respected king because he had endless love for the people of Joseon. Okay, now it's time to introduce the great inventions of science and agriculture. King Sejong the Great has many contributions to science. First, he worked together with royal scientists like Jagyeong-sil and made tools to observe the amount of rain and tools to know the time such as Honcheon-hee, Chugugi, and Jagyok-lu. And next, due to the difference of Chinese agriculture techniques and Korean agriculture, people were having difficulty in their lives. Therefore, King Sejong helped to make books about agricultural techniques good to Korea. This is the Nongsa jigsaw made by Jung Cho. It's really old.
It looks old for real.
And next is King Sejong the Great's invention of Hangul. Amber, do you want to try to introduce this?
Hangul is the first individual writing of Korea. King Sejong the Great called the language Huminjangam, meaning the correct, proper sounds for the instruction of people. The language Hangul was made by
King Sejong and the dependent researchers, and Ju Shigyong changed it for the people to use easily. Modern Hangul orthography use basic 24 letters, 14 consonant letters and 10 vowel letters, 5 tense consonant letters, and 11 complex vowels. This language wasn't used widely among people, but Ju Shigyong teachers spread it to the people in the Japanese colonial periods. Now, it became the end of my presentation, and I'm going to talk about the opinions about today's topic. There was nothing to doubt about. King Sejong the Great was surely the greatest king of Korea history. He did all his best to make Joseon a better place for his people. Unfortunately, he suffered from many diseases like diabetes, edema, tremor, and many more. Therefore, he died when he was 54 years old. That time, kings' lives weren't that long. However, a great man like King Sejong the Great's death must have made the people sad a lot, I think. If King Sejong the Great was alive right now, I would have been his pupil and learned about his inventions. Thank you for listening for today's video, and I wish you could subscribe, ring the bell, and click like. Bye bye!